What is up, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is time for the Wrestling Wire. Sorry we coming at you a little bit later on this evening. Sometimes things just happen and you got stuff to do. So in this case, though, we about ready for it. Hope everybody is doing good out there. Hope everybody made it through the hurricane all right. Yeah, I tried to convince the indie show on Friday. I was like, y'all should play the Hurricanes entry music to start the show off because that would be funny as hell. Stand back, there's a hurricane coming through. All we got inland was a bunch of rain, but we got some wind, nothing major. At any rate, folks, we're gonna get it started here in just a minute. Trying to get everything lined up so that way I've got all my information. I jot everything down throughout the week, so that way I got it all to bring to you right here. Either way, at any point in time, any of y'all got something you want to say, y'all want to bring up, feel free, because that's how we do it here. This is the unfiltered, podcast, as I've been told. So, whatever that means, right? Man, we started off Monday Night Raw this week. You had Bayley and Bianca getting into it. Now it's going to be a ladder match at Extreme Rules. This is going to be awkward. Has Bianca been in one? I'm not sure. And as far as Bayley goes, is that where she needs to go after her injury? There's a lot of those things in here, right? Neither one of them really have that hardcore tendency to them. So I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic for them. I'm just interested to see how it pans out. So that's coming up this Saturday, Extreme Rules. We'll cover all the Extreme Rules events Sunday on the next episode of the Wrestling Wire. So Bianca Belair defeated Io Sky in the opening match of Monday Night Raw. Rollins defeated Rey Mysterio. I've still yet to figure out how Rey ties in with Rey ties in with the storyline on Riddle and Rollins, but okay, I get they're trying to mesh the worlds together to try to make storylines run off of each other concurrently. I get it. That felt more like a stretch than anything, though. So when you got all this other talent that you could put out there, I'm trying to find the reason for that one. So, yeah, Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano defeated the Alpha Academy. Weird team, number one, Gargano and Owens, but alas, good match. I dug it. It made sense, and it did what it needed to do, right? Omos defeated more local jackasses. I don't understand the point of this at all. I don't understand why you have this giant and you just have him crushing locals. You should be having him going up against some of your already, tenured talent that you're not utilizing. That would give him more credibility to me. You're not using Bobby Roode. You're not using Dolph. You're not using all these other players that they've got in the background. Why not? Why are we not putting them in the ring against this dude? If you're going to build him, build him. If you're not going to build him, I guess do this, but it's a waste of 5-10 minutes and a piss break. Speaking of things that were not a piss break, Candice LeRae returned. And she beat Nikki ASH in her debut. That is badass. When that graphic hit and she came out, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh, damn, here we go. This is going to be good. And it was. Candice looks great. She was nice and tight in the ring. Everything looked crisp and clean. That's that shit. That's what we need to see out of new competitors. I don't feel like there was anything lost in the transition for her. A lot of these characters, Io, Dakota, and some of the other NXT call-ups, you notice a bit more of a transitional glitch. We're going to call it a glitch because it's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. It's getting used to this product as opposed to the product you were on before. I guess Candace was out for so long that there wasn't that transitional phase. Sami Zayn defeated AJ Styles. I get why. I get what they're doing there. Cool for AJ to do the task, to do the job for Sammy. But, it was long enough for Solo Sikoa to mess with him, man. It worked out. Solo interfered, and here we go. After the matchup, you get the Judgment Day out there, and they're trying to mess with AJ. I don't see AJ turning. I don't know what's going to happen next when it comes to the whole Judgment Day side of this. Oh, hey, what's up, Harry? How you doing? HVT. Nothing much, man. Just catching up on the weekly show. You know how I do it. But once the Judgment Day offers and offers and offers the same person the same role, it's repetitive. Why? Once it's one and done, it's one and done. Are they trying to build? Because I don't see AJ turning. I kind of feel like the Judgment Day is floundering other than the Dominic Rhea storyline. That's my opinion, which sucks because Damian Priest is badass. Finn Balor is obviously badass. Rhea is awesome. Dominic's all right, but for all the talent in that faction, it feels like they're not making any waves other than the Dominic and Rhea side of it. It's weird to me. Speaking of Damian Priest, had a great match with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle was able to defeat him. The cool thing with this is it's going to keep building Riddle up. Mark my words, you can take it down here and now. Matt Riddle beats Seth Rollins this coming Saturday night at Extreme Rules. I said it plain as day. There's no other way this goes. Rollins has one. Riddle's going to get one. And then eventually they'll go through the tiebreaker and whatever happens there, happens there. It's not going to be the same as with Cody, where Rollins went 0-3. This is going to be 1-1 and then a final. This is going to have to go. They're going to have to go again. Maybe they won't go again right away. Maybe it'll go down the line. They'll have their third encounter. But at least right now, Riddle's going to get his piece. Maybe Randy Orton returns after this. I don't know. That's a whole nother ballgame. There's also the weird shit with the settlement that's going on, or the lawsuit over Randy Orton's tattoos in WWE 2K. The tattoo artist apparently sued him and has won. I get the designs are yours, but that body's his, ain't it? So I don't understand how that works. I figured you got paid enough for the tattoo work itself that it made sense. Anybody else feeling that too? Or is it just me? It might just be me. So then you had the Judgment Day attack right after the bell. Edge made a return to save Riddle. Edge decided, you know what? Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match coming up at Extreme Rules. That's going to be badass. I really don't see Edge losing that. I don't see that happening at all. After Raw went off the air, Seth Rollins attacked Riddle and they brawled. So that was as it went off and after it went off the air. Let's see here. Pulling up AEW's Dynamite results at the moment, or my Dynamite notes, rather. I'm sorry. Results, notes, it's all the same thing. What are they doing with Primo, the pizza guy, Luigi Primo, or whatever the hell they call this dude? I don't get it. I get that he's over in his indie bubble. he got over on the one show that they did, and now he's gonna be around. I did he get over that good? Like, did all of a sudden his merch sales go through the roof, and now he needs a spot on TV? Is that how this works with AEW? I guess there's certain things this company does that I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. And I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I'm not going to name names, but I was having a conversation yesterday. I was at a charity show, a hospice benefit. We'll cover all that on Thursday night Indie Spotlight. At any rate, conversation I was having with this person, he was like, "Man, if you ever get a chance to go to AEW show, you need to go. It's awesome." I'm like, I'm sure it's fun, but to me, it looks like a rock concert." He said, "Yeah, that's how it feels." I'm like, "But it looks like an indie show with money." That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't. It doesn't have the pomp and circumstance or the grandeur or what have you that WCW had back in the day. It doesn't look for you know the way the WWE looks. It looks like some random indie company got a piss pot full of money and here you go. This is the product. I've seen better workers and better storylines here in the Carolinas. I often do. It's weird to me that they're on TV making all that kind of money when these guys I've seen aren't and don't. I'm going to catch up on some comments. Tony Khan equals Herb Abrams Jr. They spend money on stupidity. Mater, I don't disagree with that. I did see the Herb Abrams video. I believe it was sent to me by a mutual friend, and yeah, it seems like very similar tracks there. Elliot Popston has popped in. What's up, man? He said, "Yo, let's see here. Good for them. Money makes the world go round. It does. If it makes money for them, that's great. That's wonderful. I don't understand the logic behind the money they spend. I guess is the way to put it. I guess that's my point of it. Let's see here. It's not supposed to look like the W. Well, I didn't say it's supposed to look like anything. I'm saying it. I've seen better stuff here where they're working on a percent of that budget, and that's what I'm getting at. For example, the show you're affiliated with has more cognitive storylines than that show. Fair enough. All right, I figured that would be fair enough. Talent wise, I can name off 5 promotions where I've seen better talent working than what I'm seeing on TV there. And I'm not wrong. It's my opinion. So, in my opinion, I'm not wrong. Let me be sure I word that properly for those who are all about opinions and objectives and facts and everything else. Fact is, I have seen better at local indie shows than I have on that television. Luke Fury chimed in. Yo, what's up, young Mr. Fury? How are you? Let's see here. That can be said for WWE too, though. And also, some of these independent guys are now getting their shot. Hey, look, I'm not saying that they're, you know, WWE's using indie show talent as well. And I'm glad that some of them are getting their shot there. That's yet again, that's not it. You're trying to put it to that level. I'm saying that that company. Do you want me to just bring you on? I can just do that if you want. I can just bring you on and we can have this conversation. That would be more fun to me. Why am I doing this? Let's see here. I know I just messaged you we've talked within the last 24 hours. There it is. I'll make it simple. Invites away, man. We can talk this out. Let's see here. Have you seen dude's eyes? Yes. He's nuts. He's geeked up, super fan with money. I tend to agree with that. Big fan of their production. Right. That's not what I'm saying. The video quality looks a bit grainy. It reminds me of WCW's, but other than that, they have talent around. They just don't know how to use them. I agree. It looks like an indie show with money. Right. That's what I'm saying. All right. So joining me at this time, ladies and gentlemen, on the Wrestling Wire is one of the co-hosts, one of the three co-hosts, I believe now, of the Lowdown Podcast. So welcome, Elliot. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm all right. I'm trying to get the kids down for trying to get stuff ready for them for school tomorrow and all the good stuff with comes with parenting.
Yep, I've done my parenting duties for the day. We're done. It's over already. It's already bedtime here. It's already past bedtime here.
Yeah,
look, I'm not saying that they don't have that. I'm glad that they're using guys from the indies. Y'all know Wheeler Yuta and JD and I know JD too. We know all these cats. That's not what I'm saying. I'm glad they're getting paid. That's great. I'm saying the show itself.
Yeah, see,
I'm going to compare it to your product. I'm going to compare it to the product you work for.
That's fine. You can do that, but I'm still gonna. I'll even say, and I've looked at all their production stuff as a fan, as a techie, as a fan, and all that. And I think what people have a problem with is their camera angles on TV. And I get that. I'm personally a fan of how they do their production, and everything. I'm okay with catching mistakes. I actually like that because to me it just gives it a more authentic and not overly produced show, which for the longest time I felt like that's what we were getting with WWE.
With the rapid changing of the cameras. I get that. That's not my point. My point is that it looks like we took one of these, I'm not going to say backyard promotions because that statement no longer means what it used to mean. Not here in Spartanburg, at least. But it looks like they took some random group of cats from the indies, gave them a piss load of money, and put them on television. It doesn't look like a polished production product in the ring.
I would have to disagree with that.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't know how you're making that assumption because I've been to probably 5 of their events live, and man, the guys can go. All these guys you see if you see them in person. If you're a promoter who was to go there and see them in person and say, "No, there's no way I'd put them on my show," probably don't need to be a promoter. It's plain and simple. People have their taste. I get that. That's fine. But to say that they look like an outlaw mud show, we'll use that term.
No, I'm not using outlaw mud show because I don't affiliate with that.
Well, no. But we've been called that. PCO's been called that multiple times.
That's because of one freaking goof that doesn't qualify.
And I know that, but when I say that, people get what I'm saying, right?
But that's comparing it to me, and I don't agree with that at all. That's why I have a problem with it.
But to be compared to an unprofessional independent wrestling show, is that better?
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
Something that's not well put together. I hear time and time again the whole there's no storylines. Man, I don't know when the last time I missed an AEW show was, But there's plenty of storylines.
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying that in our area of the Carolinas, there are indie shows that have better storylines. The one you're affiliated with is one of them. The one that an AEW star frequents here in the Carolinas is another one.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong. And there's just as good a talent between those two shows, plus some of the other ones I know of, as there is being showcased on TV by that company.
Well,
I mean by that. Now, I'm not talking about like Chris Jericho. Okay, yeah. I'm not talking, well, I'm not going to say John either. I'm going to say if you look at guys like the Young Bucks, right? They're indie darlings.
Arguably the best tag team of all time.
I'm sorry, you misspelled FTR wrong.
No, I said arguably. I didn't say the best. I said arguably the best. I believe FTR by far is the best tag team of all time. But
on the current scene, I'll go with FTR is in my top 3.
Yeah, but the Young Bucks, it comes down to this: what product do you like? Because someone who prefers the AEW product is probably going to prefer the Young Bucks or FTR or the Lucha Bros or something like that. Someone who may prefer a WWE product, which is completely fine, may prefer the Usos or the New Day, or people may prefer nostalgia, so they may say, despite them getting up in age, they still may prefer the Hardy Boys, or they may still throw 3D in there, the Dudley Boys. Or they may say MLW and go with the Von Erichs, or they may go with the Briscoes, or
I think I'd put the Briscoes currently in probably the top 5 or 10 tag teams in the world that are still running.
See, my top 2. Here's my top 3 in order.
Okay, go ahead.
FTR, Briscoes, Usos.
So you didn't even say the Young Bucks?
No.
Okay.
But they're still arguably, people will argue that they're the best tag team all day long.
Well, right. This is an opinion show.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. In my opinion, I feel like the AEW product is convoluted with run-ins and mashups and oddball stuff.
Simon Miller would argue differently.
Yep, that's Simon Miller.
On ups and downs, because he counts the interruptions and run-ins, and WWE Raw is leading currently.
You're also talking 7 hours of television versus...
No. I didn't say SmackDown. I said WWE Raw.
Oh, one show versus what? Dynamite or...
Yeah,
Rampage, or Dynamite and Rampage?
Dynamite, Rampage, SmackDown.
Beating all of them combined.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. That must have changed recently then. Because it seemed for the longest time you couldn't make it through an episode of Dynamite without 75% of the matches ending with malarkey.
I mean, you can argue that both sides all day long.
Well, yeah.
Someone's giving a promo. Guess what you have? Interruption. You never have a promo finish. But that I see that changing on both sides, and I see it changing because the competition's changing. Thanks to you got someone else leading WWE now, who I believe is definitely making the product better. I'll be the first one to say it. They're definitely the most talked about thing right now with the White Rabbit happening.
It's Zach Gowen. It is Zach Gowen. I'm convinced. The T-shirt sold me. It's a dude hanging with one leg. It's Zach Gowen.
Yeah, it's not.
It's Zach Gowen. One-legged. It's Zach Gowen.
I did see someone post it. They thought they heard it was Dolph Ziggler. I said, if it's Dolph Ziggler, people are gonna be pissed.
Yeah, it makes no
Um,
sense to be Dolph.
you know, everything is pointing to Bray, and I'm in all honesty, I hope it is. I hope it is Bray. I hope he's able to get the creative freedom that he's wanting under Triple H and stuff. The thing that Triple H has is that he understands the workers because he was one for so long, and he shows them respect. And man, you know just as I do, respect goes a long ways with people.
Oh, 100%. And see, in especially in the indies, it's so weird because of like y'all think tribalism in college football is bad. Get in indie wrestling, you'll see what tribalism really looks like. This is more political than Democrats and Republicans could ever be.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone knows you cancel culture is rampant in the wrestling world. Unfortunately, I'm just
Uh,
I'm just I'm just the type of person, man. I don't care what you think, what you believe. You know, you do you, boo.
right? Hey, look, I have never figured out a problem that couldn't be conversed over a cigar and a drink. So, but that's just me.
Yeah, man. It's just people just got to learn to talk. You know, we instead of talking out our issues, we'd rather post something on social media and then get somebody canceled for whatever reason,
Yeah,
or
or yep.
um, you know, and or we just make a rash decision, um, you know, because of a difference of opinion, and it's just kind of one of those things for me, man. I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care what you believe. If what I do care when what you believe starts.
Affect you.
I ain't worried about it affecting me, but when it starts affecting my children, that's when I care.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because it's my job as Papa Bear to protect my children, and I'm gonna raise my children, and people can call it indoctrination if they want to. That's fine, but I'm gonna raise my children based on what I believe, and people ain't gotta like that.
I
But
I think everybody who raises their kids in
according
to
to
walk the line similar to their own.
exactly, and it's just when we raise our kids, we raise them to our what we consider our standards, right?
Yep.
What we believe to be right and wrong. And I shared with someone a while back that because they use the term indoctrination. And for me, it was just one of those things like, hey, my parents raised me a certain way. Doesn't mean I agree with them 100% to today. But one thing I will always do is love, honor, and respect my parents, no matter the
Right.
differences. And so it's not indoctrination; it's called parenting. And that's just the reality of it. And
Right.
they completely they were like, "Wow, I never thought of it that way." I'm like, "Man, it's just one of those things, man. Learn
Now,
learn to learn
right.
to talk to
Now,
people with respect, honor
unless un-
people, and respect people.
unless you were
They'll
raised
do it
by a
back.
trash bag, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But if you were raised by a trash bag, obviously that's a bit different. But
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But back to the wrestling thing, man. I think it's just I like the production style of AEW. Um, I don't like the big LED board with WWE. I don't. And this is coming from a guy who, when it comes like we're pushing for an LED board for one of our campuses at the church I lead worship at because of everything it allows you to do. Video, audio, or not audio, but video, graphics wise, lighting, and so forth. It allows that extra visual oomph, so to speak.
right.
Right. you know, because we look at, just like we look at music as a gift, we look at visual arts as a gift as well. So me being a worship leader for my church, that's something that we try and tap into to help others grow in their craft and in their gifts, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and so forth. So where I understand and really appreciate it, I just don't like it for wrestling setup.
Now, which LED board are you talking about? The one that goes around the ring or in the barricade, or are you talking about
No,
the main
the
wall?
entranceway, the LED wall entranceway.
Really?
Man, I don't know. I like the whole 2 different tunnels. I just like that. You know, I like the being able to tease heel tunnel, face tunnel type of thing that is so often done. And honestly, if they kept the LED board and just put 2 different entrances, I'd probably be fine with it.
Right. I'm trying to think of indie shows that have different entrances. I don't think I know of any of them.
No. And the only show I've ever seen do it is AEW.
Yeah.
You know, Impact used to do it. They had 2 completely opposite sides, right?
Opposite sides. Yeah, that I remember.
And man, I was a fan of that. I was like, man, which way they coming? I don't know. You know, I think it's just some small differences. You know, we all know WWE's been doing it for what, 30, 40 years now, right?
70.
Well, I'm talking about the production as big as it is.
Yeah.
30 years now, since the 90s.
Every bit of it. Oh, no,
you know,
late 80s. Late 80s.
Yeah, well, yeah. WWF and stuff like that, yeah. But you know, so they've got some experience under the belt, a good bit more.
Right.
You know, I think it just comes down to style. Their writing, you know, it again for me, it's picking back up with Triple H at the helm.
Right.
With for me, the past 10 years has just been rough. You know,
to an extent, it seemed like they ran out of star power.
I got completely away from liking wrestling. I stopped watching it, and honestly didn't get roped back into it until I met co-host of the Lowdown Podcast and founder of PCW, Shane Dorr.
Right.
He kind of roped me back in through a mutual associate that we had, and you know, and my sons end up loving it, which I'm grateful for. My daughter's liking it more. She's always wanting to see the girl wrestlers and everything. You know, I think what makes these local products so good is we have a core following, and so we're able to share these storylines and keep everything going smoothly. Where and it all not being as big on a scale, in a sense, kind of helps us too. You know, because we kind of, and I don't know if AWL or Pro Wrestling Union is this way. I feel like they are, though. They have a core group of guys and girls they're using every show. So we're able to build those storylines and not have to worry about these spot shows. I know, you know, what they tend to run into, WWE and AEW both, is, you know, I think AEW kind of ran into the problem where, because they were allowing their talent to have more freedom and go and travel and go to these other shows, where WWE for the longest time kind of just said, no, you're not going to work anywhere else. You can maybe sign autographs somewhere. Recently they've opened that up. But you know, everything goes through us type of deal. They don't have to worry about the injuries then as much, because an injury is happening at a house show for WWE, or a main show for the WWE, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, or a premium live event. Where AEW, someone may be fine on Dynamite or Rampage, have a show that weekend at an indie promotion, get hurt, suddenly they're out. And it's like, well, guys, we got to back up and punt, which I think
that whole storyline just got shot down the river.
Right. And that's happened a couple times. And I think, and you know, I think TK, from my understanding, just from conversations, reading conversations and hearing about conversations, he's really buckling down on that. And he was also the guy for a little while who, if someone didn't want to be there, they didn't have to be there. He would just let them go, let them out the contract, let them go.
And now he's going to change his stance on that.
He's changed his stance on that because it's like, hey, you know, you signed something for 5 years. I've got plans for you for 5 years. And no, I can't let you go. I know what you're wanting to do. I can't let you do that. Honor your contract. After you honor your contract, you don't have a 90-day non-compete. Just finish your contract and then boom, you're done. Or don't show up and I'll just hold you until your contract's out. Which I completely agree with. WWE's been doing it for the longest time.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. That's not an issue to me. Like I said, my main thing is the showcasing of the talent. Luigi Primo. I'm glad that got over. But did he deserve to be in the ring with Jericho, even to get punched?
Well, I think it's I enjoy some goofy writing here and there. So you're in a place that they specifically use. Well, they were in Philadelphia, use a quote unquote New York pizza because New York pizza is 1,000 times better than Philly could ever be. Stupid stuff like that. I chuckle at stuff like that. Now, was it necessary? No, it wasn't necessary. Did it get a pop? Yeah, it got a pop. And I'm okay with that. You know, I'm equally okay with Sami Zayn becoming an honorary Uce. And, you know, I'm now, because they've had it going for so long, I'm like, man, I want to see where this goes. Right?
Do you want me to tell you what the end of that is?
Oh, it's I'm sure it's him, Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano, and some other people going against the Bloodline.
How about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeating the Usos for the tag titles?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty
That's
obvious.
where I see it going.
Yeah. It's obvious writing, but it's still intriguing.
Right. Now, but look at how long it's taken to get here with Sami Zayn. Luigi Primo went from a backstage segment where I don't remember what happened to him. I don't know if he got hit then or not. I think he did. To being in the ring with Jericho and get hit. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, again though, I'm okay with stuff like that. All right, prime example: John Skyler, Ricky, what's his name? Ricky Roberts, country music superstar for WWE.
Okay.
He got over as that one time. They brought him back to do the same thing, and again, he got smashed by Braun. You know, it's one of. Did he deserve to be in the ring? No. He got his 15 minutes of fame though, and I was okay with that. I was like, all right, cool.
John Skyler, I would say, deserves to be in the ring though. John Skyler's a fantastic worker.
Yeah, well, I mean, from what we know, yeah, but from what everyone else knows, at that time, I mean, now they get to see him on Impact more often, or unless he is no longer with Impact. But for the longest time, I mean, the majority of the people watching that show didn't know that.
Yeah.
Unless you follow independent wrestling, most of these guys that we see, you know, Chase Emery, Luke Fury, or Luka Daniels, I mean, John Skyler, James Drake, Anthony Henry, you know, all these guys, Wheeler Yuta. I mean, there's a ton more. But
Wheeler's fantastic in the ring, but his promo the other night with
he was with the best guy on the mic doing the business.
I get that, and it has nothing to do with MJF. I can delete MJF out of that entirely.
You know what?
I felt like I wasn't convinced by him.
You know what I think the issue is? I don't think it was his promo. I think it's the sound of his voice.
Might be the sound of his voice or his delivery, because I just wasn't convinced.
Because the following promo he did the following week in Philly, when he said, "I'll leave you in a puddle of blood on Broad Street," man, that made the place go nuts.
It did, but that's the one I'm talking about. That's the promo I'm talking about. I wasn't convinced by it. I don't know why, but it didn't hook me.
I think it's,
and I like Wheeler Yuta.
I think it's one of those. I think it's just his. I think honestly, I think it's just his voice. It doesn't carry, right? It's not a very boisterous voice. It doesn't carry. It's not real. Doesn't have any type of deep. Let the water out, girl. Let the water out, El. Let the water out. Let the water out. So I don't think. For me, I think that's what it was, because I'm sitting there listening and I'm like, man, because I was it was kind of the same thing for him. Like, all right, why is this? This is like falling on deaf ears. Why? And when it came down to it, for me, I was like, man, he said some good stuff, but I think, like you said, delivery could have had something to do with it. And I think, man, just the tone of his voice.
Right.
And I don't know if there's some coaching that can be done to help with that. I think maybe there could be some coaching to help with delivery and to give a little bit more oomph behind it or something. But man, I'm just ringing out, sir. I don't know.
No, well, that's the thing. You're in it on the same levels I am, so it doesn't matter. Your opinion is just as valid as anybody's.
Ooh, but yeah, I think it just with everything, man. Like I said, I'm a fan of their production work. And it's maybe it has to do with my son loving it so much. Maybe that's some of the. I'm not sure what it is, but like for me, going to an AEW show and sitting where I sat versus going to a WWE show and sitting relatively the same place. So me and my son both just got so much more out of the AEW show. I don't know, like the music wasn't too loud. Like I didn't feel like I needed to get earplugs being in there. The crowd seemed more into it. And we also understand there's a different demographic, right?
It's a different crowd.
It's a different crowd. And we know that.
100%.
But they both had their place. I love seeing where wrestling's at right now on the independent scene and on the global scene.
Yeah.
Because there's several people who keep saying that. There's several people. I'm just going to turn my camera off real quick.
Okay.
There's several people who keep saying that they think AEW's done for because of all the stuff happening with Punk and the Young Bucks and stuff. But man, I for me, for all that to happen and then go the past how many weeks straight with increasing their viewership every time, I think that shows they're in a good place. I don't expect them ever to overcome WWE, and I don't think that needs to be their goal. I think they need to have the goal of being the main alternative. And I think if they set their goal for that, I think they'll be successful.
Right. my thing is this. I'm with you on. I don't expect anybody to overtake the WWE. If anything, it's going to be Brett screwed Brett for any company. That's the way it's going to be at this level because of the amount of money and investors and all that other you know contracts and television and there's so much you can throw into that pie. But my point is AEW. My whole thing was just the way that AEW uses the talent it has, as well as some of the others that they bring in. I made the same remark earlier about Omos and the local guys. I would rather see. That's annoying. I'd rather see Omos go up against Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode and any of these other guys.
He's been hospitalized.
What?
Yeah, he's been in the hospital for a while.
What happened to him?
I actually saw it the other day. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I read the other day where it showed him in the hospital, and I didn't click the link and read it, but it was showing where he was in the hospital and stuff. So I don't know if he was injured or I don't know if he's been sick with COVID or something. I'm not sure.
That's weird.
But that's I think the biggest problem is, and I've told you this before, the biggest problem at AEW is their roster's too stacked for the small amount of TV time they have.
To a degree, I agree with you. If they would stop putting people on TV who aren't on the level of TV, I think they'd be better off. Focus more on your Jerichos, your Moxleys, your the Lucha Bros, FTR. Why aren't they on TV? The Acclaimed. I'm down with the Acclaimed.
FTR hasn't been. FTR. Hold on, El. FTR hasn't been on TV recently because Dax took a couple weeks off for him and his wife's anniversary.
Okay.
The Acclaim, they've been on TV. I mean, as they recently won the AEW tag team titles. But for a while there, Anthony Bowens was injured, so that's why they couldn't be on TV. But the moment he got back from injury, they was put in a feud with Swerve and Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland to for the belt, which they lost at the pay-per-view, which I was completely against. I thought they should have won it at the pay-per-view.
I agree with that. Can you put logic to that? Why do they give us the match? The match ends. The title doesn't change. 2 weeks later, the title changes in a rematch.
Well, because they wanted to do it at Grand Slam. I mean, that's just one of those things. The booker said, "Hey, yes, we could give it to him here, but let's save it for Grand Slam and give it to him there in a hold on, Ellie, in front of a crowd that's going to be more people, a crowd that the money's in the chase, right? The money's always in the chase. That's something that Ethan Case tells all of us in the locker room. Something that he's trains all of us on is, hey, as good as seeing it happen is, the money is always in the chase. Because once that chase is over, it's over. So where I can agree, hey, I wish they would have done it that night because I wanted to see it too. And I even told told a couple guys I was watching the show with, I thought they messed that one up. Because that pop would have been unreal that night. And I feel like everyone knew they were getting that Grand Slam. And that's the reason that I didn't like the the decision.
Gotcha.
But man, I appreciate you sending me an invite. Let me get on here with you for a minute.
Hey, no problem. Man, of course, I support and appreciate you jumping in as well, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, shameless plug. We got C.W. Anderson on this coming week.
I know. I met him at the gathering and I connected with him there, and I just haven't been able to pull it off yet. So,
well, I appreciate you liking, sharing, subscribing to our stuff, man.
Of course, dude. Look, you look out for those who look out for you. You support those who support you.
Hey,
we all play in the same game. We all go in the same roads.
And hey, I don't know what's going on with #goof, but we can talk about that later.
Dude, do me a favor. No, you can talk about it now. I don't care. It's funny as hell. It's great.
Man, listen, I see people getting punched at wrestling shows. I'm like, what the heck's going on? I see talk about other people keeping their names out of other people's mouths. All these big tabloids going on. Then I see I'm on a call with you and hashtag a couple months ago, and now all of a sudden I see all these different parodies of his show. I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on? What are we doing here?
So here's what happened. You know that me and Brino run the roads for the most part together, right?
Yeah, correct.
Right. You've seen us. We've been to your show like that. We show up and that's us. When we're working North Carolina, Brino comes here. I drive the rest of the way. I make sure, I try to make sure the talent for the show gets there in peace. This goofball wants to get on his show and his platform and start saying, where's he hiding? We haven't seen him in forever. Well, you got to leave your house to see him, don't you? You got to pay attention. No, you don't do that. You live under a rock. So therefore, you can't see him. So there's that. And then he wants to invite us onto his show. And he did the worst thing. He tried to out-politic me. I'm from D.C. It's not going to work. Okay? You can't out-politic me. I'm from D.C. I'm going to own you. He tried. He failed miserably. I wrecked him for 25 minutes on his show. Then Brino wrecked him for a half hour on the same show. And it just became, well, I'm just going to keep doing this until he decides to give up and quit again. I swear to God, he's in retirement competition with Ric Flair. It's only going to end when one of them dies. Then the other one, then they can't retire anymore. That's how that's going to go. But he opened his mouth. I put my foot in it.
Oh, mercy.
Hey, look. You know how the game works. You've been in this business long enough to know how this works.
Hey, man, I don't have any enemies that I know of.
You do. You're guilty by association, and you know it. You are guilty by association.
Nope, that's a negative, sir. I refuse to be guilty by association. If someone has an issue with me, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to settle it. And if we can't come to an agreement, or hey, no, not an agreement, but hey, we don't have to agree with each other to like each other, or at least be cordial with each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is indie wrestling, man. They hold grudges. They hold grudges here.
Listen, like I said earlier, man, I'm just a ring announcer. That's it.
Executive producer.
No. I have absolutely zero say in the show. I show up on Saturdays. I get the match card. I go to the workers to find out their information. I hop in the ring when it's bell time, and I do my thing, and that's it.
Well, yeah, things happen, man. I'm telling you, you're guilty by association, though. You just don't know it yet. Well, I got another fun show to announce, but I'll announce that on Thursday. It's just unfortunate what's going on, around that time. You will learn more in the future as that goes forward. Either way, Elliot, thank you very much from the Lowdown Podcast, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Hey, be safe. I enjoy catching up on your stuff, man, when I can. So,
same here.
All right, man. We'll see you.
All right. Take it easy. Bye. Man, he's good people. I'm telling y'all what I know. He's good people. I've hung out with the dude at a couple of shows. He's a fantastic announcer. Either way, we don't have to agree on wrestling to be respectful to each other. That's the fun part of the game. So, back to talking about AEW after we took that 30-minute detour talking about philosophy of AEW. You had Danielson defeat Matt Menard. Match wasn't bad. I'm not a Matt Menard fan. I didn't like him when they were in WWE. I don't like him now. That hasn't changed. Kylan Disney chimed in to say, my company's going to buy the WWE. Your company probably couldn't afford to buy 2 indie promotions, but that's okay. Let's see. You had MJF come out to run his mouth. Wheeler Yuta came out to the ring before that. We were talking about this earlier. They're going to go to DC and fight instead of fighting there in Philly. Of course, you never give the crowd what they want. That doesn't make sense. Keep them hungry for more. Juice Robinson versus Jon Moxley. Why? You don't need your main title on every show. You don't need it. I swear to God, if they start putting Jon Moxley's defending on Dynamite and Jon Moxley's defending on Rampage every week, it loses the luster and the allure of being a world's heavyweight title. If it's on there every day, it looks like a TV title because you don't have all the rest of your titles defended on every single show. If there was a wrestling company that every show they did, and let's say they did 2 a week, Monday night and Friday night, and then a pay-per-view, and the titles were on the line every single show, it would take up every single show. There'd be nothing left for the rest of the show. There'd almost be no point to it. You can't overexpose your champion. And that's what they're doing. The WWE is doing the bipolar opposite. You barely see Roman Reigns. It means it's special when you see him. Roman and John came from the same place, kind of. John was an indie star, came into NXT, did good stuff down there. Well, FCW did good stuff down there with him. They did good stuff with Seth and Roman. They had great stuff with so many talented workers down there. And then they got to the main roster as the Shield, and they've been boys ever since. They probably still are great friends. People thinking that friends in this industry don't happen, it's there. Let's see here. It should be simple. Less is more. Thank you, Mater. I agree, man. Less is more. Unless you're talking about the parking lot at Ingles, which was way more people than I was prepared to deal with, so I left and went to a different one. Less is always more. Saraya comes back. What was the deal with her promo? I don't get it. I get some of it talking about I'm happy to be around people that listen to me. Okay. I guess I can understand that. Hey, Mater, Vinnie Mac killed that in the 90s, bro. Sorry. Actually, it was dying before then anyway with the invention of the internet. Just ask Al Gore. Let's see here. So she came out and she called out all the ladies. So Baker comes out, Hayter comes out, Rebel, Penelope Ford, they all come out. All well and good that they're going to do this. But I don't understand what her role is going to be. Is she going to be doing more? Then is she going to be an active competitor? If she is, who's she going to be in the ring with? Because she's going to have to be in the ring with somebody who's really safe. Because she gets one more on the neck and she might not get up from it. And people don't realize that. How sensitive a neck becomes after a neck injury. I promise. It's very, very, very sensitive after a neck injury. It's never 100% right. It's never good again. It's just okay or livable or doable. It's not great again. It ain't there. I promise. It's not there. So you ended up with Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb. Look here. She's going in the trios division. Ah ha 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 ha. That was very punny. I got what you said there. Thank you, Mater. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Mater, don't make me send you an invite to the show because I'll put you on screen in a heartbeat. I don't give a damn. And then I'll broadcast it throughout the world because I'm downloaded in like 4 countries. I don't care. I'll totally put you on here. Don't tempt me. Um, man, I really thought that they were gonna go for Serena Deeb as a champion there because Serena Deeb is a fantastic wrestler. She's been a fantastic wrestler for so long. Uh, that she's been underrated, underutilized, and underappreciated for a decade. That's not a lie. That's reality. Um, Kyle and Disney, you know my company bought Star Wars for $4 billion, right? Dude, just because it's your last name doesn't mean it's your company. Sorry. We need to promote that. Quite possibly, Mater will have to set it up where you come on the Wrestling Wire and we sit and BS the past couple weeks of wrestling. That would be a good time. Have your people get with my people and we'll hash out the details. I don't have people. I'm barely a person myself. But either way, they had Storm go over, or Storm retained the title in that matchup against Deeb. So Ricky Starks versus Eli Ism or Isom. I don't know how to pronounce that dude's name. I'm not sure who it is, but either way, Starks just tore this dude apart. 2-3 moves, game over. Match is over. So Starks won that. Ring of Honor World Championship match. This was a fun matchup. Bandito versus Jericho. I'm not a big Bandito fan. Bandito came into Ring of Honor after I stopped watching it. Okay. I watched Ring of Honor during the Gabe Sapolsky days, which, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinion, the Gabe Sapolsky era of Ring of Honor is why Ring of Honor is where it is now. That needs some adjustment on wording. 1 second. The Gabe Sapolsky era of Ring of Honor brought Ring of Honor to prominence. It never would have made it this far without him. And then we're here. That sounds better. Gabe had it at its highest peak. That's all there is to it. Gabe Sapolsky had it at its highest peak. Anyway, Bandito was very entertaining. It was a good match. It was a fun time. Obviously, Jericho retains after Bandito tapped out to the Lion Tamer. So that was a good show. Impact this past week was, let's see, Thursday night. Thursday night, I was working on some stuff, getting prepped for the storm. So I can already tell you that. I was late coming in to watch this, so I watched it on the DVR. I fast forwarded through quite a bit. So, with that being said, the way Impact's been doing lately, their storylines have made more sense than AEW storylines. I feel like Impact's in that ECW stage. They have but they don't have as good of a channel. But I think their product is good. So I'm hopeful that the NWA and Impact do something to where we can get more of them both on television, even if it means the Impact regaining TNA Impact. Because if you remember correctly, NWA was the belt originally defended on TNA years and years back. So I just feel like that's the direction I would like to see it go. I feel like the NWA is a fantastic product as well, and I wish they had better. I wish they had something going on TV. Hey, somebody call Billy Corgan and tell him to get on TV. I know he thinks it's dying, but it's not. We need to get him on TV again. If they're gonna stick with doing YouTube shows, then okay, yeah, just go do your YouTube thing. But to make everything a pay per view like that, uh, you're drawing a line here. If it was on a network where you were a subscriber a month, right, and there was other things there, maybe. But to just be able to buy one item at a time, it's a little weird. There's indie companies out there. XWW's one. High Spots, I think, does it too. There's, I think NAWA has something to do with that as well. I'm not 100% sure about that. But there's like 3 different companies in the region here. What they do is they take the indie shows and they download them. They got them all on their streaming service, and they sell a monthly subscription to all these different companies you can watch. That's cool. Why isn't NWA involved in something more like that? Because it's not just pay one fee for one show one time and it's done. It's pay a monthly fee for a boatload of content that you can watch. To me, that makes more sense. Uh, and I'm not a business guy. I took business in school, but that doesn't make me anything special. It's my opinion, it's my perspective as a subscriber to already multiple networks and a subscriber to multiple television channels. The only TV channels I don't have opened are the pay-per-view channels full time and the ones in other languages because I can't understand it anyway. So other than that, every other channel that's available on television, I got it here. And it's still a pain in the ass for me to watch Impact Wrestling because it's such an oddball, obscure channel. It also reacts weirdly to my DVR. They want to record like 6 hours beforehand where they're running through the old shows. I don't get it. But okay, yeah, sure. Um, it is what it is. As far as Impact goes, from what I got to see, it was fun to watch, and they had a lot. They had a lot of good content on there. They're building towards Victory Road, right? So they're building towards their next big show. I was trying to find their actual write up because I did not document their show. Normally what happens is I sit on the couch with my phone or the pad and I sit there and dot all the results. I send it to myself in an email. I read the email to you guys. You see what I'm saying? So I keep all my notes and thoughts current from there. That's how I do this to make it make sense at the end of a week. Because I'm not going to remember it. Because I'm sure there's a 3-year-old with a longer beard than my memory. I'm positive that that's a thing. Let's see here. You had, I don't even know who these people are. Yamara defeated Jason Hotch. Didn't even know who they were. I don't remember that match at all. I must not have seen that one. The Bullet Club, Ace Austin and Chris Bay defeated Trey Miguel and the Laredo Kid. I do remember seeing that match. That one was pretty fun. I especially did like the springboard sunset powerbomb spot. That was a fun spot. I do recall that one. Let's see here. There's a bunch of weird crap that happened on Impact this week. Brian Myers defeating Crazy Steve for the Digital Media Championship is, I guess that's their mid card title now. So right on. I guess they needed one. Let's see here. I'm trying to find out if there was anything else of relevance on that show. Black Taurus defeated Delirious. I don't remember that match at all. Honor No More had a victory road celebration. Honor No More versus, or they went up against Rich Swann and Heath Slater. Rich Swann and Heath Slater actually defeated Honor No More in that matchup. They're already advertising next week. You had Masha Slamovich defeated Ali Catch in a Monsters Ball matchup. That was, I don't recall this. Pile driver into the text isn't ringing any bell. I guess the match just didn't. I guess the show just didn't hit for me enough for me to recall. So my bad on that one, guys. But either way, give it a shot because I'm telling you, you will enjoy more of what you're seeing now than what you would have seen 6 months ago, maybe even 3 months ago for Impact Wrestling. So I do recommend giving it a watch. It's worth checking out. Drew McIntyre versus Austin Theory, because we're moving on to SmackDown Live now. Drew McIntyre versus Austin Theory ended in a DQ. Why? I get the run in. I get the point that they're building with their storyline with McIntyre. It gets on my nerves when you have too many people jumping in for no reason. Why is the Alpha Academy jumping in on this when it should be Karrion Kross? You see what I'm getting at here? If it was Karrion Kross costing Drew the match, you're building towards their encounter. Why are we doing it with Alpha Academy? Make it make sense. Hit Row defeated Los Lotharios. Fun match. They are really improving, and people that are saying they're not, your bias is showing. So tuck that back in. Ronda Rousey defeated Natalya by submission. Look, those two work well together. I do enjoy seeing them in the ring together. So here's hoping that Natalya's got a couple years left. I don't think she's featured enough on television for as good as she is. Personal opinion. Sheamus went after the Imperium. Well, after the match with Natty and Ronda, Liv Morgan come out with a baseball bat. They brawled back and forth a good bit, and on that went until they got separated and ripped apart and taken backstage. Sheamus went after Imperium with a shillelagh, which, yet again, I get it. They're in Canada and the other guys couldn't travel, I guess. They kept saying people were stuck in Florida. Wouldn't you have left Florida before the storm if you needed to get out of there? I don't know. Will they push Rousey like they have Charlotte Flair? No. Charlotte Flair's coming back Saturday, is my guess. Charlotte Flair's going to come back and cost Ronda the title, and then that's going to build their storyline. And then after their match is done, Charlotte's going to win and say, now it's my turn to challenge Liv. I don't think that they're going to allow Liv to beat Charlotte. If they do, cool, I'm down. I think the money match for me right now realistically feels like it's going to be Liv Morgan versus Sasha Banks. I feel like that's going to be more fun because they're both good workers. They're both out there, and their fan bases are huge. And their fan bases are also tribal. People aren't on Morgan. They either love her or they hate her. That's it. Rousey, people generally don't like her because of where she came from. I'm sorry. It worked for Brock. It works for my buddy Brino. It's working for Matt Riddle. It works for it worked for Ken Shamrock 20 years ago. Hell, Ken Shamrock could jump in the ring today and probably still kill half of the people in the ring. It works. Don't criticize it because you don't like it. Criticize it for for a valid reason. That's my whole thing with AEW. It's not that I don't like the product. I watch it. The shit that annoys me in the show pushes me away from it, if that makes any better sense. Don't hate the product. I don't hate the guys. I like the fact that it's a company paying people that I know money. That's great. That's good. Friends making money. Yes, support your friends. But why do some of them who are this talented dirty to do some of these people that aren't as talented really good? That's where I'm like, I don't get it. The fact that they're not using JD Drake versus Hobbs or JD Drake versus who's the mid card guy? Wardlow. And have it be logical. Because JD Drake's a whole lot better than that 30-second squash match that they gave him against Wardlow. That's where I broke at. That's where I don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't understand it. And that's what my problem is with this. When I don't understand it, it obviously ain't going to make sense to a lot of people. But you had Bayley Bayley defeated Shotzi in their matchup. Glad to see Shotzi's back. Glad to see the Tank's back. I'm glad that they're finally doing more with her. I really think we're going to have a good war in time. It's going to be Shotzi versus Rhea Ripley. In time, I think that's going to be a good feud. I don't see it happening, in the next couple weeks or whatever. I see this happening months down the line. I could even see an intergender tag match. Dominic and Rhea versus Ray and Shotzi. That would be fun. I'd be fine with that. I think that'd be a blast. You can make it a Survivor Series matchup. Team Ray versus Team Dom. Dom's a sub, but it is what it is. Top's the bottom, technically. McIntyre, Owens, and Gargano defeated Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy, and that was your main event for SmackDown. AEW Rampage came up after that. Now, when it comes to Rampage, I finally caught that early this morning. Same with SmackDown. Did I watch SmackDown last night? No, I take that back. I watched SmackDown last night and Rampage this morning. I didn't get in until after they were both off the air. I was working a charity event, so therefore I just wasn't here. I wasn't here, so I had things to do. But either way, Rampage. Why are they in a triple threat? They just won the titles last week. Why are they in a triple threat for the tag titles? Where does it show that Private Party deserved a title shot? Where did it show that Butcher and Blade deserved a title shot? Nowhere whatsoever. If anything, you could have made that a number one contenders match all on its own. And left the Acclaim up on commentary talking trash the whole time. That'd have been a blast. That would have been fun. You still would have got your Scissor Me Daddy ass pop. You still would have got everything out of it. Why are you putting them on TV in a triple threat? Make it make sense. Either way, the Acclaimed retained. I'm down. I'm fine with that. I just felt it was a stupid position to put that in. They are announcing now that Nyla Rose is going to challenge Jade Cargill. No, I don't want to see this at all. I'm against this. And twice on Sunday, I'm against this. I don't know if that's the way it's going to go, but it is what it is. Lee Moriarty went up against Fuego del Sol. Or it's Fuego del Sol. Fuego del Sol. Moriarty ended up defeating him with the Border City stretch. Morrissey gets in the ring and choke slams him after the match. Okay. Andrade versus 10. If 10 loses, 10 has to unmask. If Andrade loses, Andrade has to leave AEW. Interesting. The funny thing about masking and unmasking is that in most cases, when the mask is gone, the wrestler retires. That's the way it was traditionally. Now, of course, we've seen different with Rey Mysterio and this one and over time. But that's the way it used to be. It's not done that way anymore unless you're in certain areas. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Google is your friend. Willow Nightingale versus Jamie Hayter. I am a huge Jamie Hayter fan, man. I really am. I think this girl's got it. I think she needs a little bit more polish on the mic. A little more polish on the mic. But other than that, I believe that she's going to be your next, she's going to be your next homegrown 3 years running. You'll see her in the main event for that belt for the next 3 years. There's no reason not to put her there. She's got it all. Ryan Nemeth came out and started to trash talk all them. Or, started trash talking Philly and its fans. Hook comes out, chokes him out. The Truth Busters dropped an envelope on the ramp for Hook, which Hook picked up before returning to the back. Okay, yet again. Are they trying to recruit? Are they trying to do a little bit more? What's going on here? The Firm, the Truth Busters, JAS, Blackpool Combat. Everything's a faction with this place. Everything's a faction with this place. It's now time for the main event. Dark Order's John Silver and Roosh. Of course. You have all the back and forth going. Then you have additional people getting involved. You had Roosh defeating Silver. Then you have Andrade attacking Silver and Reynolds after the match. Uno and 10 sprinted to the ring. That evened it up. Butcher and Blade run down to help Andrade. Hangman Adam Page comes out. It's like there's just so much dominoes falling. There's so much to it that there has to be a reason for everything. At least in this case, they made a singles match out of all the melee that occurred. It'll be Roosh versus Hangman Adam Page. And that is the end of the recap for everything we saw this week on televised professional wrestling. So, with that being said, guys, if you have anything to add, if you have anything you want to say, anything you want to bring up, talk about, whatever, feel free. But you know what? It's late on a Sunday night. Your boys got work in the morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for sticking with me. We'll be back on our regularly scheduled program starting next Sunday. Beyond that, it's been real. It's been fun. Hell yeah, it's been real fun. Thank you all once again. Thus proclaimed.